Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, 5011 fam.
Oh, sister, kick you in the back of the head.
Okay,
You ever watch Talladega Nights?
once.
That's
It's
what the
something
little
about
boy
me and Will
said at the
Ferrell.
picture
It's something about Will Ferrell. I think mm, I just have,
table.
he's good, but sometimes
The
I be like,
kids
his,
were
his
funny
stuff,
at the table. I'm gonna
uh,
come to you like a spider monkey. That's my favorite part.
the kids were going at it. The kids were going at it. Well, y'all, we're here. We're here doing what we do. 5011 Chronicles back in action. Having conversations that spark conversation, y'all. And this is again another KiKi. We are here at the season finale of season
Woo!
4.
We did it.
Wow.
We did
Wow. Where did the time go?
it.
And how, I don't know if y'all have noticed, but this season is like twice as long as our previous seasons. Like it's been a ride. Here we are in Technicolor.
But we were gone for so long.
We were gone for
So it was
so
only
long.
right that
It was only right. It was only right. You're absolutely right. So, we just want to thank y'all for tuning in to another episode. We're about to get into some things. It's going to be a bop. So here we are, 50 Chronicles. Right
zoom.
back at you.
Zoom.
I feel like we just such interesting energies right there. Like, I have to ask, I have to check in because this is what I do. This is who I be. Because when this episode airs, we will still be in the midst of this. D, how are you riding this retrograde?
You know what? Surfboard. Surfboard. It's like
Yes, yes,
we ride
yes,
waves.
surfboard. You're
Sometimes
right.
we get wiped out, hey, but we get back on
hmm
the board though, and we get back to riding the waves.
It's wild. Like it has been. This one has been one. Like it's crazy because I've even seen it so present in so many people's lives around me. And usually, like I feel it. I feel the retrograde. I know it's going on, and I see little things here and there. But I really feel it. It's like in my life. It's just very present. But something like this one that's going on now, I've seen it everywhere. Like every bit of what's been going on in my
Yeah.
life and my friends' lives and my coworkers' lives has been like retrograde. Like, oh, mom just
The
went on a
shadow
trip.
period ate me up more than like
Shadow
the
period was
actual.
what?
By the
I
time
think
the
same.
actual time came, oh child, we had already released. We had already just released it to the community. Like we
I
just
had
released.
yeah. I think I was good up until like last week, and then it really hit me.
Yeah.
Like it really hit me, and then it's like towards the end of the week, I got back. It's like
Yeah.
I got back on the board
Yeah. Like
surfboard,
surfing.
like it
Surfboard.
got back to it, like, okay, real quick, I was telling D, like, yeah, I really been working on building my library. I want to have a library of all types of things that I'm interested in so
Yeah.
that if at any given moment I want to read something, I can just grab any book off of my shelf and it's going to be right along line with like my destiny and with my path and with the things that I love and the things that I find interesting. And so I found this book and I have a problem with Five Below. I don't know if any of y'all have a problem with Five Below, but I do. I have to limit myself to only going into Five Below once a month because if I go in more than that, it gets dangerous. It gets dangerous. But they have, because they're books, they have a lot of like spiritual books, they have a lot of plant books, cookbooks. But this one is called Mercury and Retrograde, and it's about the stores and the astrologies and things. But I just really wanted to, the stores. But I really wanted to share this because I think people hear retrograde and it's so buzzwordy and it's like you hear it
It's so
and
terrible.
we know, I think people know what it is because they feel it, but they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to read this real quick. Mercury is the most common retrograde that we experience, the one that comes most often. When it comes about, 3 or 4 times a year, lasts for about 3 weeks at a time. And it almost always brings about a suspension of conversation, information, and delivery. Packages get postponed, letters go missing, travel plans go awry, setbacks are more common than usual, contracts and agreements seem to be missing key factors, key details. So it's a big no-no to sign any contract, to do any like big new project, new endeavor right now. We overlook things more easily when Mercury's in retrograde, and that may be like if there's a new job come up and it might be that you don't look at the contract and you miss some things, like if the job might be what you asked for, but you might have missed a couple details so it's like we have to double, triple, quadruple check during this time if we do anything new. But I found this really interesting because as often as we hear about what retrograde is and how hard it affects us and how no, don't do this, no, don't do this. I don't think a lot of people ever talk about what you should do during retrograde. Not enough people talk about like the actual actions you can take to combat the energy or to work with it because it's not really about working against it, it's about working with it.
Yeah.
I think that's the big thing that I'm learning now at this age is like, don't resist the energies that are happening around
Yes.
us. It's how do you work with them? How can you make that energy work with you? Or how can you adapt to it? Because
Yeah.
it's adapt or die. That's literally like life, adapt or die. So listen to this. You're clever if you use this time to clean out drawers and closets, get in touch with old friends, and tackle or retackle old projects. Old projects, things that were left unfinished. Rest, go inward, exercise. This is an opportunity for you to kind of recalibrate.
Self-care.
So, like it's self-care. It's self-care. It's like if it's a little junky, then I need to, clear some things out. If I need to donate some things, if I need to go in and, dust off an old show, like things like that are the things that are going to benefit us the most during this time period. So I'm telling you that because I think both of us have kind of just naturally started doing some of those things and our energies have shifted
Literally.
too. And so because
But
of like doing those things, I think it's
I
helped.
think too, like the thing about Mercury retrograde is like if it's hitting you hard, it's basically letting you know, hey, you're not in alignment. And if you're still struggling through it, it's because you're not listening and you're not doing whatever it is that your spirit or with your mind or whatever is telling you to do. Because if you like when we felt the during that shadow period, we
That
felt it, and
shadow.
it was like hold on.
Hold on,
Let me
wait
pause.
up.
Let me take
Right.
inventory.
Woo.
Let me
Woo.
see what do I need. Like I was, and for me, it was like it was just me pouring more into me. You know what I'm saying? And making sure, doing whatever I could to make sure I feel good, the energy in the space is good. I think, and it's crazy that I did all those things. And honestly, all that stuff you just read, I did not know because I don't really be know it. I don't know much about Mercury retrograde. I just be feeling it when it happens.
Yes. Mercury.
I just
So
be a victim.
Mercury rules the communication center. That is like,
Yes,
and
because
this
for
is
me,
my
it'd be my
thing.
technology that
It's
always.
tech. Exactly. They're like, don't buy new tech. Don't like, you're going to have tech problems during this season because I think that's the thing that people don't understand that I don't get. Especially I'm going to hurt some feelings and I'm not trying to hurt any feelings, but I'm just going to say, it, especially Christians. I'm not a person who lives my life by astrology. I need to start by
Right.
saying that. I'm not a person who, oh no, it's retrograde. I'm not leaving the house. No,
No.
I feel that shift in the energy. I recognize what's going on celestially because if God created everything and everything is good, like the book says, if everything is good, we have to understand that sometimes things are greater than our perspective, than the present information that we have. And
And
sometimes
as
we have to,
above, so below.
so
That
below,
means something.
come
If you're
on.
experiencing it on our plane, that means there's something bigger going on a bigger
Period.
plane.
It is like even the laws of things like gravity, those
Yeah.
understandings in physics and science,
Energy.
these energetic things. It's so crazy because we've said it before in an episode, and I think we have to say it every time we bring up astrology because people don't get it.
We should
Astrology and
just start calling it
astronomy,
astronomy. We
we
just call
should.
it astronomy.
We should because they are
People think
essentially the same
horoscope, that's
thing.
why.
They're literally just different lenses.
Yeah.
One is approaching things from a scientific perspective. One is approaching things from a spiritual perspective, but they're the
Which
same
is still
kind of
science.
conversation. It's still a science, It takes study, it takes practice, it takes understanding. Some things you have to work, you have to witness to understand, just like you have to experiment, just like with science. Okay, so I love that. Oh, I love that. Y'all know that's one of our tangents right there. That's one of our tangents. We could just go in on it, but we really just wanted to even check in with y'all. Like retrograde is one of those periods that if you're not, especially if you're not prepared and you feel it and you don't know how to work with it, you just will find yourself for 3 weeks drowning. Like, what do I do? Everything just seems to be falling apart. I can't start nothing. I can't get nothing. Like, yeah, maybe you need to have a better understanding of actually what's going on around you. And it
It's
might
a
actually
time to
help you
slow down.
tackle it. It's a time to slow
Because
down.
it slows everything down.
It does. We don't know how to rest sometimes. We don't know how to turn inward. We don't know how to. You said something earlier and it reminded me about a sermon I heard today. So I was at church and it was a lovely sermon. And she was talking about listening to God. And she used this analogy where she had some people holding letters and it spelled out listen. And then she said, hang on. So in order for us to listen, sometimes we have to do it like have to go through a shift. And she shifted the letters and listened and it spelled silent.
Mm.
And she said, sometimes we can't listen because we haven't silenced ourselves. We haven't silenced our heart. We haven't silenced our mind. Sometimes we will remove ourselves from a loud situation and we think, okay, I'm still not hearing God. You haven't silenced your mind. You haven't quieted yourself down, turned inward enough to chill and be, to hear the divine speak or to get resolution. Like, you're just floundering, just
Yeah.
flapping your arms, trying to, like, it's like when you see people drowning and they're floundering, and it's not even
Mm-hmm.
actually drowning, but people who could stand up and they think they're drowning. It's like
Yeah.
they're just a little bit of
They panicking.
panicking. It's panic, and panic will kill you if you let it. Like, panic will kill you if you let it. So I just think sometimes the more prepared we are with information, even things that some people will say can't be proven, we don't know that for sure. Even with things like that, there are things that are just bigger than us, things that
Yeah.
we can consider because it might just help us approach life a little bit differently and
Well,
adapt
you
to the
know what that made me
situation.
think about?
What's that?
It wasn't a sermon, but I used to when I was at work, it was this girl I used to work with. And one day I was like, girl, you be walking through here so slow. And she was like, that's because moving fast is the devil. And you know what? When I got older, I understood exactly what she meant. Because when you are moving fast, when you just going, when you flustered or when you rushing
Mm-hmm.
that is devil energy. That is
Mm-hmm.
so, because that's when you be making mistakes. That's when you mess up. That's when you miss stuff. That's when you can't receive messages. When you slow down and you take your time, everything goes the way it's supposed to go. That's why they say take your time, do it right. That's not a
Interesting.
sermon, that's a song, but she did say it.
Period. Hey, sometimes some of the best songs are sermons. Come on now. That's a word. We'll take a word if we can get one. Now, let me tell you, as we're talking about seasons wrapping up with ours, we just got to the mid-season mark on X-Men 97. And y'all,
I'm pissed.
what?
I'm pissed.
I'm feeling very bittersweet. I'm feeling very bittersweet because I'm gonna say something that some people might find controversial, but I don't really care. And it's my opinion. Um, I think that's exactly where let me tell you. I was like, what can I say? And I need it now. No, it's like, 'cause I'm about to express it now. That's what I'm about to do. But okay. So, literally right here, we're always like right here. We see each other, y'all. We see each other. It's okay. Okay. So it's, I very rarely is there a remake of something or continuation after a long period of time and it matches the energy of the previous.
Toy Story is the only thing that ever do it.
There, very, very that. But even more rare is a time that a remake comes in or a continuation or a remaster and it's believed to be better than the original. And for me, I believe that X-Men 97 is better than the original. I love the original. It's still one of my favorites of all time. But the way that they have really taken time to make each character so much more dynamic, so
Mm-hmm.
much more detailed, you're really peeling back the layers.
You get
Like,
to see everybody.
no doubt, you can't have 97 without the original. You can't, because even the story, the way that it set it up, phenomenal storytelling. Love the animation for the time period. Loved what the character stood for, especially for the time period. But here we are in a whole different time, 30 years later. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's important that the tone, that the detailing, that the storytelling shifts and advances, and they did that. I
They
feel
did.
like they have done that, which is why I'm like, it's bittersweet because they are killing this storytelling, killing
Mm-hmm.
it.
And
The
they are
bitter
killing
part,
me in the process.
there it is. The bitter part is they are killing me in the process because now we okay, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Okay, boom, we did that. So if you
It
haven't
did with me because
seen
I
up to
wasn't gonna
episode
say.
5, you need to skip past this quite a bit.
Fast forward.
Um, fast to the
Pray about
forward
it or something.
or watch and come back. Like,
Right.
so for me, Storm losing her powers, I shed a
It was
tear.
disrespectful. It was
So
disrespectful.
disrespectful, but it was perfect because they get to set her up. Like, she's still the respect. I don't know, just watching the respect that people still have as she walks into a space, it's setting
She's
her
still
up as the true powerful, like, goddess energy that she is for X-Men. Like, they're really setting her up for that. And with how everything just played out and, losing Gambit, which I'm like, the way that episode, okay, so a couple things because, okay, I saw this one part and instantly it made me think of you. The part when Jean kissed Logan.
Oh my god.
And instantly I thought of you But
That
and, and I agree, she is trifling, but
she's
at the same time,
trifling.
what I was talking to someone else and they brought up a really good point that I hadn't considered. They were like, Jean's down pretty bad like this season. And I was like, yeah. And then I started thinking about it. And I'm like, Jean doesn't know which memories are hers or not. Jean doesn't know. Her and Scott are at such friction and tension that she don't like. She's like, do I love you, or do you love me, or do you love the clone, or do you like what
But you
is?
know what? And this is another thing that was making me mad is because she's creating the tension. There's no reason for her to not understand what Scott is
I
going through.
disagree.
Like
I disagree.
no, she
I
tripping.
disagree.
She's
I disagree.
tripping.
I disagree because I think
Nobody
it's
knew
the
that
tension
that was
is
not
both of
Jean.
them.
No,
It's
it's
both of
but
them.
she's not being understanding. One thing about Scott is she is not. She got mad at him for talking to the baby mother Jean.
She got mad at him for talking to the baby mother Jean through the
In his
secret
mind,
channel. The
it don't
secret channel
matter.
that was
It
just for
don't
them.
matter. He
It
just lost
does.
his child,
He
and
lost his child.
the
I get.
mother of the
I
child is
think
not you, physical Jean.
it's
And
not.
on top of that, you was just kissing old boy, so shut up.
She just
He didn't
kissed.
even
Oh
kiss.
boy,
He didn't even kiss her in real
okay.
life.
We're not gonna blow it up like they was out there like having no affair, because he was just real quick to shut it down and be like, hold up, I know
Yeah,
you're in your feelings, but
but if he
you're with
hadn't
Scott.
shut it down, what if he was on that type of time?
I don't know. I don't know that it would have gone
Exactly.
any further. That's
She
my thing,
had no
because
right to feel no type of way. She was
I
tripping.
I
This is the
disagree,
first
because
time I've ever cheered for
also
Scott.
I disagree. I think we're going to have to agree to disagree, because for me, this is where I stand on it. Because I definitely agree with you on the fact that Scott and Madeline have their own grief that they are dealing with, for
Exactly.
absolute sure. It's crazy though, because this is that soap opera clone thing where you throw in another party who's like, which memories are mine? Which are yours? What was I here for? What was I not? I remember everything and know everything that you experienced. So, because they're even saying, the theorists, the conspiracy theorists who be looking at all the details, are saying Madeline could have been here since episode 1 in season 1. That could have been Madeline all along, because Madeline is hair down and Jean is hair in a ponytail. And
And
so
that's
that's
even
I'm
more
like,
reason to not be mad at Scott. Because
but
he
that's
doesn't
even
even know
more reason
like
to
what
not be mad
memories
at
are with you
Jean
and what
too.
memories am I not.
That's even more reason to not be mad at Jean too, though, because they don't even know the point at which they were switched.
Well
They
then
don't
she needs
even
to
know the
shut up
point.
and chill out.
I I think I think that they both need to give each other some grace during this period, and that they both deserve some freedom to figure out how they feel about what they feel and to work through
Yeah.
that, versus trying to be together right now. I think that that's not helping, because
Yeah.
it's complicated and it's ugly and it's murky and it's
I feel
twisted and
like
it's
she's
brilliant
making
writing.
it complicated because
I
she's
don't think
coming
she's
from
the
a
one
place
making
of
it complicated.
anger. And I feel like for because if you think about it from Scott's point of view, first of all, the child of it all,
Hmm.
that
Absolutely.
alone will mess your mental space up.
For
And it's
sure.
like he doesn't even know. He's questioning everything in his own mind, his own memories, because he doesn't know which gene was what gene. She like, do you love me or the clone? Both of y'all, ho, what you talking about? Y'all, I thought y'all was the same person. I had no idea that I was dealing with two different people. I thought this was the same person. Obviously, I like that, like stupid stuff like that. Like, which one of us do you love? That's a stupid question. Why are you asking that, Gene?
But I don't think
Why?
that she actually asked him, which of us do you love? She asked him the reality of, is it that you're in love with me, or are you just in love with some part of me?
Both. Because
But that's
in
the
his
thing about
mind,
it.
there's not.
But
It's not a
that's the
clone in
thing
his
about
mind.
it that
It's
makes it
her.
complicated. But that's the thing about it that makes it complicated, because being in love with both of them, they both only have individual experiences with him, and they have the exact same experience.
But in
Except
his
one had a
mind, he
child
was
with
with the
him.
same person the entire time.
Exactly. And in
So
their
you
mind, they
can't act.
both were
That's an
there.
unfair question.
It is. It's an unfair question. It's an unfair situation, though. Like, that's the
Well,
reality
then
of
she
it.
direct her anger to Sinister and leave Scott because I can't even believe she got me going so hard for Scott. Like,
I can't
and
either.
I
But
don't
you
see her
also
for
don't
Scott
like
in that
Nikki.
interview too. But I don't like Scott either. I dislike him honestly more than her, but because he's like that goody two shoes, I can't stand that.
Yeah, he is
That
that
Boy
Mr.
Scout, I
Perfect.
can't stand
Yeah,
that.
he is that Mr.
But that's
Perfect
why
type.
I was here for him in that interview when he got her together.
When
I'm
he got
like,
her
yes,
together, I was like, oh,
let her know.
because first of all,
So I don't be here for the humans either.
she was disrespectful for bringing the baby up.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So disrespectful. It
And
shouldn't
then
have come
trying
into
to
the
get a
conversation.
ride, like you got what you wanted, lady. You wanted the rise, you got it.
You got it. Here it is. So we get past that and we get to Magneto and Rogue and Gambit. That made me so angry because I ship Rogue and Gambit so hard. It's the Louisiana accents for me. And I get why for her the touch part is, but for me it was just like how it all played out. It was the whole everything playing out for me that was just
It
like,
just blew me.
this too
It blew me.
much. This
And
this,
I
this is
came
too much.
into it like, I'm so excited about Gambit. I was so excited.
I don't think Gambit's dead.
But I don't
I
even
don't
like
think
how
Gambit's
they doing
permanently dead.
Gambit. Like,
I do. I do. I
they
like it
blowing
because
me.
they're actually making Gambit a star. Gambit was so background previously.
Yeah.
He was always just kind of like there. Like, oh, we got Gambit. He's just kind of
Oh,
there.
when I
He'll throw
said
out a
they,
couple
I
little.
meant Rogue and them. Not like the character development. I meant like, I
Mhm.
don't like how Rogue and them is doing my
Oh,
thing.
absolutely. But see the way that this is my thing because it's such brilliant storytelling.
Oh no, it
I'm just
is.
like getting caught up in all of the emotions, replaying it in my head. Because for me, I think he almost knew that she chose him in the end, like up until his death. Yeah, y'all, I said it, but you got a spoiler alert. That's between you, your God, and Disney
If
Plus.
I had to see
So,
it, you gotta know it because I
period.
can't unsee that.
So, but for me, it was also the brilliance of him knowing he was going to have to die in order to blow
Yeah,
that machine up. Because
yeah.
I think at some point they, like, when they were going and they were leading the Sentinel away, or what was the big, what's he called? The Master Mode. They were leading Master Mode away. And, I mean, they were, first of all, let me just say, Magneto did his big one.
Oh, Magneto 8.
Magneto
Magneto wasn't
ate.
playing. Magneto said, "I came to save the
when
day."
that
He
when that
did, but
thing
he
was like
came for it.
Omega level threat detected, Omega level, and then you just see Magneto is like stewing, and those powers
Yes.
are building up, and that thing, if it hadn't overpowered him and basically almost like knocked him out,
Mm-hmm.
he would have definitely, because this is the thing, for those of you who don't know, I think we've talked about it a little bit, but like Omega level mutants are like the most extreme, the top level. So I think there's like alpha level, beta level, then there's like a gamma level, everything, and then there's something beneath that. But then Omega level is like the top, like the
Mm-hmm.
very top. They could, because they're considered Omega level, because with their power level, they could essentially wipe out all of like life on the planet. They're capable of that. So Omega level mutants include the Phoenix.
Yes.
They include, actually, if I'm not mistaken, Scott might be Omega level. I'm not 100%
Scott can't
sure.
even open his eyes. He's
He
Omega
can't.
level.
But Professor X is Omega level because if he's under a certain type of like sickness, and I think they showed it in Logan, if something
Mhm.
happens to him and he can't control his ability to control minds and he's just unleashed, he
Yeah.
could wipe out every mind on the planet. That's how powerful he is. Storm, she controls
Yeah.
the weather, y'all. She could remove all moisture from the air. Like, done. Planet
Gone.
drop. Boom. Over. And Magneto, because he controls, like he is the power of magnetism.
Mm-hmm.
Every mineral, which
Yes.
means the whole planet, the whole human
Literally.
bodies, he can pull the mercury out of someone's body and kill them. Like it's literally and they did that in one of the movies, which was really dope. Do you remember when he did that in that might have been X2. That might have been
It
X2. We
was
were talking about X2
a really
earlier.
good one where they really ate it up like that.
They
Honestly,
ate it up in X2. Everybody was eating in
it was
X2 just to.
everything in X2.
Yeah, I think he did that in X2 where he pulled all the iron out of the man and used it to
Mm-hmm.
kill him, the guard, and that's how he broke out of the prison. But there's others, like I think some of
Oh
Scott
yeah,
and Jean's
yeah,
children. You
yeah.
remember
Because they
now?
had him in that plastic.
The plastic room, and they always gave him
Yes,
plastic stuff. But the
yes,
guy who came in, I think Mystique had given him something, and then he also
yeah,
had a high like iron, like or
yeah,
something in his body, and Magneto was detected it. He can detect it. That's the thing about it. He can detect the level of magnet or metal or mineral in the room, in the space, and he can use it
yeah.
everywhere. Like, so there's others, like I said, Scott and Jean, they got children, numerous children who end up with the abilities. Like there's another version of Cable, Nate Gray, in one universe, he's called X-Man, and he's like super duper. Then you got their daughters, both of them, Hope and Rachel. They just own some other stuff.
Oh,
We
speaking
just,
of Cable, you know what else
yes.
made me mad? when
Not when.
what'd you say?
No, go ahead. What was it?
When they at the party, right?
Uh-huh.
And everything, Jean here to see the little stuff, she get the little vision. She start walking out. He comes. He's trying to tell her, ma'am, get everybody out. This was going on. And she was making me so mad. Your eyes, how'd you get here? I'm like, girl, hello.
That was
all
Madeline. That was
like,
Madeline.
hello. Or
that
what
one
is
was Madeline.
I don't
Yeah.
care.
Okay.
Which they Jean. I don't care. Because I don't like neither one of you hoes. You're Jean.
Dang. Okay. So yeah, and
she was making me mad because I'm like, girl, he trying to tell you, and it's like, you get the people out, and then when the thing blow up, everybody confused because she wouldn't listen.
That was a really hard scene to watch. I mean,
it
all those people.
I did not know
dying.
It was gonna go the direction it went.
I didn't either.
And that's everybody what I love. Is like, that's when you know a show is good, is when the writers are willing to take it there. Nobody's saying. I love that. I love
First of all, potentially losing Magneto and Gambit in one episode. It's like, this is also too. No, Nightcrawler survived. So remember, there was a moment, and okay, so I have to go back and rewatch it too, because it was a really good episode. But there was a moment where it looked like Nightcrawler was about to die, right? Mm-hmm. You remember that moment? And then they go away, and then you see some more stuff happen. There's a scene that comes back later, and you see Nightcrawler and everybody after the attack, after they've killed Master Mo, and he was alive. Okay. So I think he was able to get everybody out that was up there where he was, or at least some people out. Because I was wondering, I was like, is Nightcrawler dead? But I mean, like,
I'm like, listen, y'all done took everybody I care about. I'm about to not watch. I'm about to say,
but this is the thing. I have a theory. I think they're setting us up because with the new trailer and just how things went down, they're using this as an opportunity where they're going to set up some other characters to be as powerful as they are. Because we've seen an episode on Jubilee, we've seen an episode on Jean, we've seen how powerful Gambit is. And the trailer had Gambit still fighting in another scene that we haven't seen yet. So I think we're going to see some time travel. Oh, did you notice? Okay, there were some Easter eggs, but I don't know if you noticed this. There was a moment right before the banquet where it's right, like the scene leading into the banquet, and it like pans over like Genosha, and you see but there's an outline in the sky. Did you see the outline in the sky?
No.
It was the Watcher.
Oh, was it?
The Watcher was watching the incident. And so when I watched the episode, sorry, there was a fly, y'all. When I watched the episode, I wondered why. I was like, was there something there? I was like, it looked like an outline of something. So when I watched New Rockstars Breaking Down, they were like, I love me some new Eric be doing his big ones. Eric and Jessica, they be doing their big ones. So he was talking about the outline, and he said, it's the Watcher. And he said, the thing about the Watcher is the Watcher only shows up for like major, like cataclysmic events. Like he only shows up to witness those big events. And many times he shows up to see why they happen. Yeah. Like why this big event has happened. So it's interesting because a lot of things that were being said by Mr. Sinister and by other people in the trailer, it seems like there's an operation. There's a group of people that are working together against the X-Men in different timelines.
That's what I was just about to say. Happening. Do you think they're about to bring in the multiverse?
Yes, they're about to connect the multiverse. Because in the trailer, we saw Captain America. Only way we're going to get Captain America is going back to the 40s. This is set in the 90s, or maybe about to be early 2000s. But that's where this is set. So they're going to have to go back in time to do any... Isn't it supposed to be
actually 97? Like, is that what it is?
Yeah, I think it's actually 97. I think, actually, I think it is 97.
The previous series ended in, like, what, 96, right? So it's supposed to be like...
It ended in 96, or it ended at the beginning of 97, something like that. So this just picked up right after.
Yeah.
And I'm almost 1,000% sure Professor X is not dead, because Professor X did not die in the original series. They shipped him off to another planet. Do you remember? With his girlfriend, the alien? They shipped him off to another planet. And I think that he's going to come back at some point. I think he's going to have to come back at some point. And I don't know when. It might be those last 3 episodes that are all named Tolerance is Extinction, parts 1, 2, and 3. So I think that we're going to have this, because there's some comic adaptations that I think are happening here. and I think it's going to be pretty wild. This is going to connect. If I'm
I need
right
to
and New
watch the
Rockstars is
Easter
right,
eggs too. Yeah, I need to watch
if
those.
I'm right and New Rockstars is right, this is going to connect directly to Deadpool 3, Deadpool and Wolverine. If we're right,
Which I'm
me and
excited
because
about.
New Rockstars has been hinting at who one of the potential baddies could be, and if it's her, then that's definitely going to connect to um, Deadpool and Wolverine. So
Mm.
I don't know. We're gonna see some interesting stuff in the continuation of this season. And actually, I think this is a great chance to tell y'all, like, so this next season that we have, season 5 of the 51 Chronicles, it's gonna be a little diff. Like Dee and I talked about it, and we want to do something. We want to do a different take. We want to do some reviews. We want to break some things down. We want to talk about some shows in a different kind of deep dive. We want to talk about some movies and some albums and some things that we've enjoyed and experienced that we want to share with y'all, but we want to break them down in a way where we like really get into some
Yes.
of the nitty gritty, because I
Yes.
think we've talked about it before. They hide things directly in front of us. They hide things in TV, in media, in shows, in music,
Mm-hmm.
in animation, places where they can hide stuff. And you're not going to think that was serious because it's a fantasy book or it's a kid's cartoon. But I think that sometimes just breaking some of these things down, we're going to do a full breakdown of X-Men 97 next season, because by the time that next season comes out, they should be finished with the show. And so that's going to be really
Mm-hmm.
exciting. Um, yeah, I'm loving it. I think we're going to get Storm back. I think that she's going to get her
We better,
powers, because
because
the way that if I'm not mistaken, that entity, the misery thing that she's dealing with, is something that she dealt with in the comics. And it was during a time when she did not have her powers.
creepy
Don't know
message
what
storm.
happened there. Oh wow, I just menopause storm real quick. It was during a time when she didn't have her powers. Whoa. She didn't have
I
her
like
powers,
that.
and she was with Forge, and it was a whole thing where they were like trying to figure out their relationship, and she was trying to figure out who she was without her powers. And I think it led to her dealing with it's an internal battle with misery. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's going to be really interesting, because I think she's going to triumph, of course, but coming out of that, I think how she's going to get her powers back. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's where we're headed with this thing.
Do you think
So
since like they're gonna kind of be bringing in like the Avengers and stuff like that, do you think they're gonna bring Black Panther?
possibly, I think they might
Because
hint at Black
Storm and
Panther.
Black Panther have their own little storyline that we've never got to see before.
They do. We've never gotten to see it.
And I'm just
Um,
curious because I've always wanted it to happen. And it was like when Chadwick passed, and we don't know what's gonna go on with that. So that's why I'm like,
that's
I'm just
true.
curious to see like how they're
But you
gonna
know
keep that
what?
character going. Because I don't think that they're gonna let the character go.
Because I'm thinking timeline wise, how they would be able to, because Storm is like maybe in her 30s in this series
Mm-hmm.
in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just finding it. I'm wondering how they would make that, because she would probably be dating his dad.
But if we're doing a multiverse, it won't matter.
That's true. Oh, that's true, because it could
And
be a
that's
whole
why I'm
different
like, they could
universe.
literally. I feel like they're doing this intentionally so that they can recreate these stories and these characters to have a new generation of characters to, you know what
Hmm.
I mean? Because
I
everything
think
is
they're
kind
just
of
setting
dead
up like a
at this point.
reset. They're
Yeah,
setting up like a
it's like a
reset.
reset.
And I think with the reset, it's going to be like the Secret Wars and all of that stuff. Because
Mm-hmm.
obviously they're not doing Kang Dynasty the same way. I don't think that they're going to be doing Kang Dynasty because Jonathan Majors was fired. But I do know that there's like some talk about something maybe happening with that. I don't know. But I don't know if they're going to recast Kang or what. I don't know what the plan is there. I
Yeah,
mean, none of us do quite yet.
I'm not
But I
above
do
them
know,
recasting.
huh?
I said I'm not above them recasting.
I'm not. I wouldn't be
Like,
mad
let's
at
just
it.
recast and keep it going. Thanks.
Let's keep it going. He's from another. Look, this is just another Kang from
We
another
don't lose
universe.
great things just because this person is not playing the character no less. I mean,
Period. Yeah, I think. Well, what I do think they're about to set up though is the Fantastic Four to be the lead of
mhm.
the MCU. The Fantastic Four and the X-Men ultimately, probably after the introduction of the Fantastic Four, because they are considered the first family of Marvel
Yeah,
comics. So that I
yeah.
think that they really want to do it right. They've got the cast. I think they have a good cast. Have you seen the cast?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I'm gonna have to send it to you. They've got a good
Because
cast. Pedro.
I had checked out of Fantastic Four after like the ones when we were kids came out, because whatever the
So
heck they thought that they were trying to give us.
the first one was okay, but it was just it never they. The first one was okay. It wasn't like good, but they didn't. No, I agree. No. Um, what I do think because they've got Pedro Pascal, who I love him. He's
Mhm.
very phenomenal at everything that he does. I can't remember the other three people. One of them, I've definitely seen him in some stuff, and I think I actually see him in The Bear. I watched The Bear, and I love The Bear.
Mhm.
I think he's on The Bear. I think he is. But they've got a good cast, and they look like a good cast for the show.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to be setting this up to be some like they're going to be from a different universe, and I think what we're going to start seeing is their universe colliding with the MCU universe or the Sony universe or they're going to collide with another universe, and that's how we're going to end up getting them. And they're going to go to Battle World, and they're going to fight it all out, and then they're going to come back, and they're going to all be on like it's going to be like a reset. Everybody's going to be in
Yeah.
one universe, one understanding of this is what it is. This is the new timeline. This is the new universe. So I think that that's what they might be trying to set up, which is kind of dope because they
Mhm.
have made it pretty murky and messy and confusing
Yeah.
over the past several years, and hopefully we'll get some
And I
redemption
think
for
a lot has
Loki.
been going on too, so they've had to shift
Writer
with
strikes, losing
everything that's
Chadwick,
going on.
Jonathan Majors,
Like it's been a
Scarlett
lot.
Johansson, all of it. They've had, I mean, it's been wild. Like the Scarlett Johansson lawsuit, losing some top talent, and then also Iron Man retiring. Like he
Yeah.
was the lead. So, he was the lead Avenger. And even
Yeah.
Captain America
And I
retired.
think
They were
with
the
Marvel
lead.
in general, I think like because this has been going like the arc that we've been on has been going on since we were kids. And I think they're also trying to like shift and read just because I've noticed too, even with the cartoon stuff that they're putting out for the kids, and that's why I'm curious to see where X-Men 97 goes, because I
Hmm.
feel like they're gonna create an entirely different animated universe of like
Yeah,
stuff that's gonna be coming out. And I'm
absolutely.
just curious to see like where it's gonna, because it's Marvel. Like I don't think they're gonna let us down. I feel like
It's
it's only
already
gonna get
started
better.
wonderfully. I haven't now the only
Yeah.
show I haven't seen that's animated, only one I haven't seen is the Moon Girl one, the new one.
Mhm.
I haven't seen that. And I think that's a Disney show.
Yeah.
And it's animated. I haven't seen that one because that's an actual kid show. So I haven't seen that one. And they haven't had
But even if
any
you look at what they're doing with Spider-Man, like with
yeah, the new
Miles
Spider-Man that's going to
Morales,
come out. But I'm like,
like
no, yeah, you're right. The Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, that is going to
yeah,
be wonderful. That series
that
is coming,
that
is
whole what they've been doing in general with
phenomenal.
because they have the Amazing Spider-Man, the kids one with like all
Hmm.
of the people in the Spider-Verse, and then they have so that's why I'm like I'm just curious to see like where we go, because the kid in me is excited. I'm excited.
I think we could look at What If for the direction of where they're going to go. Because even
Yeah.
like I Am Groot, What If, they have a certain tone, a certain energy about them that
Hmm.
is like, it matches the live action. It's an
Yeah.
energy that matches the quality and the thoughtfulness of the live action, the details and the Easter
Yeah.
eggs and all of that just the same. I think that's what it's going to look like is literally it's going to be like major storytelling, innovative animating that matches the era. Because I
Yeah.
think this Spider-Man one is going to look retro-ish intentionally. I think it's going to intentionally have a retro feel with the animation, just like X-Men 97 is like a refurbished,
Hmm.
take on the 90s animation. I think that what they do with the Spider-Man one is going to be similar, but it might be a little more 80s, a little bit more like comic strip feel. I don't know. It's just going to look different. Like they're going to have
I
each
would
show have
love
its
to
own
see the
identity.
Deadpool one too.
Ooh,
That would be
yeah, that might be where
the
they take it
cartoon.
next. That might be where it goes next. I don't know. Cause even
That would be
like,
so dope.
I could even see that with like Blade and some of the
Hmm.
others, like those could have been great. And that even might be how we see some of this like other Black Panther stuff that they might want to do in the
Yeah, that's
future,
what made me think about it, because I'm like, I would love for them to like just take it and run. Like they
Hmm.
need to call me so I can tell them all the stuff they need to do.
All the ideas. This is what you need. This is what you need
Call
to do.
me up. I can tell y'all. Call me Marvel.
Love it. Okay. So, uh, before we do our For the Culture, we do want to do a little housekeeping. Talk about little things with our next season. And we teased it a little bit, but like we said, we're gonna be doing more reviews, breaking down things, getting into details. Our next season will be returning on May 15th.
Yes.
May 15th. Mark it on your calendars. You'll be seeing the promos, you'll be seeing the things, but that does not
Put a
mean
pin
you
in
will
it.
not be seeing. Period. you will still be seeing Jay's Safe Space and DiDi's Laboratory, which is
Yeah.
officially premiered, and I'm so excited. So excited. Here we are doing the things. Um, I'm just so excited because I feel like this season we've grown a lot.
Yeah.
Like we've come a long way. We finally
Mm-hmm.
got this video. We finally gotten like the hang of a lot of different things. And with the
We found
shifting,
our
even
sea legs.
we have found our sea legs. You know, we've really gotten into a flow. And I
Yeah.
think that even with the shifting of some of the softwares and the technologies we're using, y'all will start seeing our show, like especially with season 5, some changes, some
Mm-hmm.
major changes, even in how our episodes drop and how you access them. Like you'll still be accessing them the exact same, but there might be a little bit different with the editing. There might be a little couple different things, you know. Thumbnails. We got a queen of thumbnails over here. DiDi herself. But like, we just want to thank y'all for being along with us on this ride as we grow, as we figure it out. Like, it's been fun.
Yeah.
It's definitely come with its own form of like good stress for us because I think neither of us stress out about this, like the show.
This is
We
like
just
our
get
breath of
it.
fresh
Like, it's
air.
like, yes, it is it's like our escape from the rest of the world and
Yeah.
from the rest of like life. So it's great to have this, for us, but also like, I just think we've been enjoying the engagement and watching it grow and seeing people check out our reels and our things of our things.
Yes.
So yeah, it's been a fun season, right?
It has. And I feel like now that we've like got our technical things all
Mm-hmm.
together, it's just gonna be even better next season
Because
because we know what we're doing. Like we know what
period,
we're
we know what
doing.
we're doing now, and we've gotten our routine. So, we have several little bullet points of things that we want to talk about for the culture, y'all. Because we go hard for our culture. We go hard for our culture IRL, like in real life, like
Come
it's
on, IRL.
like period. But there is something, and I didn't even tell D this, but I have to read this because
Okay.
y'all, I saw something on the Twitter,
Okay.
and because that's what I still call it because that's what it is to me
It's what
when
it'll
I joined
always
it
be.
12 years ago. Period.
That's what the
So,
weather's gonna be.
NLE Choppa was the topic of quite a bit of conversation this
Okay.
past weekend. And I have to talk about what happened. So he dropped a new song. I'm not going to say the name of the song because it's kind of, I'm just not going to say it. But if you go and listen, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And in this, the song has this very much like, Vogue, dance hall, drop down and duck walk feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw some exchanges on Twitter where someone was like, what am I supposed to do? Vogue to this? Like, am I supposed to duck walk to
Yes,
this?
getting your
And
best
he was like,
Uzi and both to
absolutely.
this.
He was like, absolutely. And so a lot of people started like these gay rumors, and they've been talking about NLE Choppa for a little bit, but they started these gay rumors and things. And he said something, and he does. I mean, he usually doesn't say much about it. He just be like, whatever, you know, like I know him. But he said something, and I really appreciate witnessing this young man find peace for himself, like how he finds peace through things like self care. I'm not saying any person is perfect, but he's someone who I think is ahead of others in his generation because he understands that peace is a priority and he
Mm-hmm.
tries it from my view. And I'm not even someone who keeps up with him, but every time I'm looking at him, he's doing things that are like for his peace. And so this is what he said. He said, I understand me being in love with myself as a black man is so rare to the point some people try putting the homosexual jacket on my name. But with all due respect, I love all. But my intimacy lies with women only and praying
Mm-hmm.
hands. And I just have to say that was the best, most understanding, non-offensive,
Yeah.
real response any
Yeah.
person could have given when the allegations are not true. You know, and
But
I
my
just
thing is like, I don't understand people's obsession with other people's sexuality.
sexuality. I don't either. I don't get
Like
it.
I don't get even with I don't know if you saw the clips of Uzi at Coachella where he was like voguing and he did his death drop and all that
Mm-mm.
stuff like that. And people, the people got the chatting because he got the song where he was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And he was
Uh-huh.
voguing. He was killing it too, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
And so people, had their little comments and stuff. And what I love is the way JT goes so hard for him because she got was like, yes, you a superstar. That's what you can do. Rock stars can do what they want to do. Like she go
Period.
up for him, and
Mm-hmm.
like people was in the comments like, oh, she knows she embarrassed. She know da 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 da. And I'm just like, how you gonna tell? First of all, how you gonna tell her how she feel?
Right.
If she was embarrassed, she would have left the relationship. she don't have to be with him.
Be with
Like
him.
she does.
Exactly.
She's with him because she wants to be. She didn't have to say anything. She
At
cheered
all.
for him and bigged him up because she saw what y'all was doing, and she wanted to make it clear that he could do what he want to do, and he killed it because he did kill it. He ate. And my thing is like, people be so small minded and so
Mm-hmm.
simple minded, and at the same time, it's like at the end of the day, no matter what he decides, whatever he wants to call himself, don't want to call himself, whatever he do, what does it like? Why do
Why
people
does
get?
that bother?
What
Like,
does
I
it
just like what
change for you?
it just
What
makes
does
me
that
wonder.
do for you?
It makes
Like,
me
how does that
wonder.
change
Like,
your
I don't
life?
get people like that. I don't get it. Like, because I've heard people make little sly remarks, especially about things like pronouns and it just it frustrates me so much because I just want to be like, why does that bother you so much? What someone else wants to be called? Why does that bother
I don't
you so
understand.
much? Like, why can't you just respect it?
My thing is like, you could call Junebug all his life when his mama named him Darius. If
Period.
you could do that, then you could say a
What's
little
so
piece of
wrong with
pronoun.
a different
We act
pronoun
like they'll
or
get
a
so
they or a them?
confused
Like,
if somebody transitioned and has a new name. Like, y'all call people. Did he change his name how many times? He was Puff Daddy, P Diddy, Puffy, Brother Love, like
all
he
of the
that.
things.
But y'all
Uh,
can't. He, she, they, and them is escaping y'all.
it's escaping them. It's too hard. It's too much. I don't know.
Understand that. I just be upset when
I,
people just are saying that they do. Because for me, like, even when people be like, you know how something will be going on and people be like, oh, this is a distraction for da da da. My thing is like, when people say those types of things, I just feel like y'all are dumb because if you can't focus on, I'm just saying you're dumb. If your brain is not large enough to understand these concepts, to be able to construct pronouns and
mhm.
differentiate, if your brain isn't large enough to say, oh, this person goes by this name now. It's just like if somebody get married, you're gonna call them by their
A
new
different name.
name.
Yeah.
Like, you're
New
not gonna,
name. Yeah.
like, it's not that hard. If you can't think
Absolutely.
about two things at the same time, you're dumb. And I'm not being nice to y'all no more. I'm just gonna let y'all know that y'all
I'm
are
here
dumb.
for it. I'm here for it.
It's
I
dumb.
appreciate you recognizing their dumbness. I think that, yeah, I don't know. It behooves me. It behooves me. That's what it does. It just really doesn't make sense to me because I'm just like, there's so many other things going on in the world. Why can't you just give someone else
Resting
just
matters.
respect?
Literally, what's
It's
going on in
literally
the world.
just a little respect. Not telling you gotta like it or you gotta love it, but why can't you just respect it and just go on about your business? Okay, that's your thing. Go, all right. Okay, they. Y'all see them? You know, like it's just as simple as that. And I don't
Or
know
you
why
can
that has
say
to be such a
nothing.
or you can say nothing, or you can call them by their name. If it's such a problem, call them by their name instead.
Or if it's just so stressful for you, free yourself and not be in the space. Just
There
don't
it
be
is.
around. Free
There it
yourself.
is. That's the thing. If it bothers you so
Yes,
much, go
free
be by
yourself.
yourself. Go do your thing and don't be around them. Yeah,
It's
it's as
not
simple as
that
that.
hard.
It's as simple as that. Absolutely. Other news. I think that, and I was saying this to someone recently, Black women are just so phenomenal. Every opportunity I get to just shout out Black women, I just love it. And it's about time that this has happened. But the miseducation of Lauryn Hill is being inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. And that album, which I think that's something we could spend a whole episode talking about
Yes.
for real, for real. And that might be one we review. We might review that.
Yes.
You might
Save
review
me.
that album, season 5. I think that'd be kind of dope. That is that is one of the most influential albums, I think, for our generation and the generation right before us. Who's that? Y? Gen
X.
Y? X is right before us?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Y is right before us, but okay.
I thought they were
Um,
Gen X. I don't even think there was a Y.
okay. Gen X. Whoever came right before the
It's,
millennials.
it's like X and then millennials. There was no
I thought it
Y.
was X, Y, and then millennials. I did. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
I
We
didn't
got a
know
couple
there was a
seconds.
Y. Who is
I think
Y?
there's a Y, but I could be
Why?
making it up, y'all. I make
Why
things
is
up.
there a Y? I could have swore it was like Gen X,
No, you're right.
millennials, and then Gen Z.
Yep, you're right. You're right. I think it says Gen Y is millennials. Well,
Because I think that's why they called it the Y. Is that why they called it Y2K? Because we was like the Y. Is that what that means?
sure, we'll go with that. I like that. I like the way that sounds. Okay. So X is right before. I don't know why I thought there were two letters, like an X and a Y, and I knew there was like
Because
the
in your mind that
boomers.
would make sense because we went to Z, but there was no Y.
Yeah. That's
They
I'm
just
like,
be doing whatever they want to do.
but I guess we are Gen Y, Y2K. That actually makes a lot of sense. Okay, we're done. I had my
That
moment
probably
on
don't
this.
make no sense. I probably made that up and you're making it make sense in your brain.
That works for me too, you know? I'm okay with tagging in. Boop, like it. Um like it. So that album though is one of the I would say that especially among Black Americans,
Mm-hmm.
that album in those two age demographics, that album is one of the most influential. I think that what Lauryn Hill did with her only album, with her only solo album, what she did with it was just, it was timeless. It
It
was
was.
absolutely timeless. It works
It
for every
is.
decade. It is absolutely timeless. It works for every decade. It works for every, I think anybody can find something in that that just speaks to
Every
them. It's,
lesson that she dropped
uh,
on there is still relevant. Everybody in
still
their
relevant.
20s should listen to.
Should
Matter of
listen to
fact,
the
before you
miseducation.
get to your 20s,
You should listen to
listen to
miseducation.
Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Yes. At
That's like something
18,
you
that
should.
should be a rite of
I say
passage.
16. I
16,
honestly
rite of
say
passage.
16,
Absolutely.
especially for
I
girls.
agree. 15, 16. Yeah, absolutely. Rite of passage. Rite of
You
passage.
got
Like,
to do
that's
it.
something I heard someone say is that one thing that American kids lack because in American culture, it's not a thing. You see it in Mexican culture with quinceañeras. You see it in Jewish culture with bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs. You see it in various African tribes
Mm-hmm.
where they would take them and there'd be a particular rite of passage into
Mm-hmm.
adulthood, into manhood, into womanhood. And we don't have that. This album would definitely be a part of that. Like, I think for my child's rite of passage, this is one thing you have to listen to and we
So
have to
you
talk
gotta
about
listen
it.
to that, and you gotta read The Bluest Eye.
In the
You
bluest, come
gotta
on now, Toni
like
Morrison,
it's certain books too
certain
that
books.
like you
Yes,
got to read.
we have to have conversation about the color purple. Let's talk about it because you can talk about everything with the color purple.
Mm-hmm.
You can talk about sexuality. You can talk about discovering yourself. You can talk about abuse and being in an abusive relationship. You can talk
Yeah.
about assault and all of the things. All of the things can be talked about and
Mm-hmm.
find like really finding yourself in independence, like going after your dreams, finding your dream. Yeah, wonderful.
Yep.
Oh, love it. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna save our deep miseducation chat for an episode next season. I think that
Because
would
I
just
could do a
be
dissertation on every song the way I listen. Listen, I
what.
still to this
Me
day,
too. Me too.
to this
Me too.
day, that album gets
Super quick.
burned out.
Okay, I can't ask you to give me your favorite song off the album, but can you give me your just three of your faves? Not just your top, they don't have to be your top three, but three of your faves off that album.
Three of my faves. Okay, so X Factor obviously is
Period.
on the list.
Period.
You can't not go up for
You
X
can't
Factor.
not go for X Factor.
Oh my gosh. I think Tell Him might have to be on the
Oh,
list. Tell Him
tell
is.
him.
Mm-hmm.
She sang that down.
And then there's so many gems on the
So
album.
many. Even three is hard, but yeah, so many.
What would I go? You know what? Because I love Zion too. I love that
Yes, to
song. And I
Zion.
played that
Yes.
song so much when I was pregnant, even though her
hmm
name is not Zion.
That's a good one. No,
but
that's a very good one.
the point here was felt.
No,
That's gonna
Zion
be
is
my
one of my
because
favorites.
it's so many. That album just
So for me, I would say X Factor.
mm-hmm.
X Factor is so X Factor is so good. And I want to say Tell Him because I love Tell Him. The other one I want to say is instead of Tell Him, I'm gonna say Doo Wop, That Thing.
Yes,
That
that is
thing, that is my
yes.
raise my energy right now. I need to raise my
Yes,
energy right now.
everybody
I'm
should
playing that.
always listen to that song. Okay,
hmm
that song is relevant. Is a lesson that you should know.
That
Okay.
one, and for me, I think it might be my favorite song off that album. I can't listen to it all the time because it will leave me in my feelings. But
Mm-hmm.
the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, y'all.
Yeah.
The title track is that song. It is that, the runs, the words. Like, you want to talk about artistry? That
Yes.
is a masterclass in artistry, that album. Like, That's artistry.
And her
Um,
unplugged, because I
oh,
bumped the heck out that unplugged.
she is such a phenomenal
Mr.
live performer.
Intentional is my
Yeah,
jam.
she's phenomenal. She's phenomenal live. I mean, that voice. Giving very
Come on,
Death Strike.
balloon.
Those cancers, honey. Love y'all and see you May 15th. I keep forgetting about those balloons.